Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be looking at why more resonance doesn't always mean more damage. Let's go. So as you'll know if you watched my 5,000 resonance video, I wanted to test out Gloom Cask versus Pain Clasp. So Pain Clasp is a gem that I've had in my setup for a really long time. It is also the last 2-star gem that I have in my setup. All of my other gems, as you can see here, are 5-star gems. So with Pain Clasp, this increases damage dealt by 24% to enemies suffering from a continuous damage effect. When an enemy suffering from a continuous damage effect is within 10 yards, your movement speed is increased by 6%. Now, I don't use it for the movement speed increase, I use it for the damage dealt increase of 24%, and that is from continuous damage effects, so burn, bleed, poison. Obviously I have poison in this build from the Seeping Bile, and I have burn in this build from Running Consequence. Now this also works nicely with Void Spark, as Void Spark helps to spread the poison from Seeping Bile. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a 30-second test on the dummy of this setup with Pain Clasp, and then we're going to swap it out for Gloom Cask to see which one comes out on top. So I know that the gems do different things, and this is why I wanted to make a video highlighting the importance of having the correct gems for your setup. Now, Gloom Cask is a really good gem for demon hunters and high or fast DPS classes. So if you have a super fast primary attack, Gloom Cask is probably a good gem for you. So you can see from using Pain Clasp here, we've got 113 million damage in 30 seconds and 3.776 million damage per second. Now, the majority of that damage is coming from primary attacks, and we've got 17.7 million damage from the legendary gems there and 19.7 from miscellaneous. So just to show you what miscellaneous covers: set bonuses, reforged family bonuses, ancestral properties, which don't exist anymore, so I'm not sure why that's on there, cursed gear, and paragon, etc. So the paragon that I'm using for this test is the Slinger Paragon, and that is using the Unseen Dynamism with the stacking of primary and skill attacks. So what we're going to do now is we're going to remove the Pain Clasp, and we're going to equip Gloom Cask in its place. And I am going to slot in a resonance gem to Gloom Cask as well, just so that we have a little bit of a even bigger difference on the resonance there. So with this in place, we have almost 200 resonance more. So you can see we're at 5111 resonance compared to 4928 in the first test using the Pain Clasp gem. So yeah, I've said about it before in videos, I've said about it to people in game. More resonance doesn't always mean more damage if you have the wrong gem set up. We've seen it with really high resonance players. We've seen it with whales that are using the cheapest gems to upgrade and then not really doing any damage from those gems. And it's all about optimizing the legendary gems for your build and also having the right gems within your build. So yeah, 113 million damage from Pain Clasp. Let's see what Gloom Cask can do. So I'm once again going to test this for 30 seconds, and then we'll compare the damage and also where the damage is coming from for that. I'm also going to be running Cavern of Echoes. You know, I like to test things out in this dungeon. What we'll be looking at through that run is the damage per second from each gem. So obviously if Pain Clasp is faster, it might be because it's dealing more damage. If Gloom Cask is faster, it might be that that's dealing more damage. So I do want to compare the two in a dungeon run as well, so you can actually see why I have changed my gem setup once again. So in 30 seconds, we have just 100 million damage. So that means over a minute, this is 26 million less damage, and it is 3.33 million per second. So quite a drop there in the damage. And obviously all my legendary gems were ready to go at the same time as they were when we tested Pain Clasp. So there isn't any reason for that difference other than changing that one gem. So that is a huge difference, and you can see we've still got damage from primary. We've got 19.2 million damage from legendary gems, so 0.7 less damage from the legendary gems here, and the primary attack damage is slightly lower as well. So yeah, some interesting results there. I didn't actually expect it to be such a huge difference, but this is why it's always fun to test these things out and actually share the findings. So let's now go into the run of Cavern of Echoes. So you can see on the left we've got Gloom Cask, and on the right we've got Pain Clasp. So obviously, as I said, these gems both do different things. Pain Clasp is helping to boost the damage from burn, bleed and poison. I have burn and poison in my build, and Gloom Cask is helping the damage from primary attacks basically with those Gloom blades. So in theory, obviously I'm using my primary attacks quite a lot when I'm running these dungeons, especially against bosses like this. So it should be kind of in line with each other using Gloom Cask. The Gloom Cask I've got equipped is at rank 5, so it's not the highest quality one, but it's at rank 5 with 48% upgrade progress, so not actually in a bad position at all, and should compare a little bit with Pain Clasp, as it is obviously giving me that boost in resonance. And in theory, as a lot of people would assume, more resonance means more damage, but this video proves otherwise, and this is why it's something that I've said to people for a really long time. This is why even if you're free to play, you can have a really strong build with 1 and 2 star gems, because if they're the correct gems for your setup, if they're the correct gems within your build, if they're boosting the skills that you're using, they're boosting the set items that you're using or working alongside them, this is why having the right gems is so important. You can see Pain Clasp is already really far in the lead, and also the damage is a lot higher per second with Pain Clasp as well. And this is exactly what I wanted to prove with this video. So yeah, obviously you can see which gem is already going to come out on top. Pain Clasp, I've almost taken the boss down with. Gloom Cask, we're still waiting for the boss to spawn. So it is a big difference here in the amount of time each gem has actually worked. And I did run these dungeons several times with Gloom Cask. This was actually the fastest run that I got with Gloom Cask. With Pain Clasp, I just did the 1 run, but you can see it is actually 17 seconds, almost, well, 16.32 seconds faster with Pain Clasp. So I'm sad to say, after upgrading my Gloom Cask to a rank 4 from the Gem Surge event, it is going to be time to say goodnight to that gem and put it back to being dormant for a while. So goodbye Gloom Cask, you didn't serve me well. And that's it from me for this video. I hope you've enjoyed watching. As always, thank you so much for being here. I'll see you in the next one. Have a great day.